Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. In today's video, I have this HP brand new laptop. Unfortunately, this laptop sat in the box for a long time without being used, and as a result, the battery is dead. I have already ordered the battery, which I'll be putting it in today. When ordering for the battery, I did open the laptop up just to make sure I have the correct part number and the specs. The model number for the laptop is an HP x360m Convertible. I will also put the same information in the description for this video. So let's get started. So as you can see down here on the bottom here, these are the screws that I took off because I knew that, once the battery comes in, I have to put everything back together, so I didn't want to put everything back on. So these are the two screws that you would take off from the cover, and then there are two more screws right under these here. So we'll get that open now. Got my tools here, and we'll try to slowly, there we go, so it comes up. Just gonna peel this up slightly, and as you can see right here, this is where the screw is. Just want to make sure you can see it right here. This is where the screw is. And then same thing on this side here. Let me just show you that just to make sure you can see it right here. So this is the other screws. Now I'll use this my spudger and see if you could just pop this cover out. There it goes. There it goes. And you just go around the sides. If need, use your spudger right here, but it comes off so very easily. Alright, so we'll set this aside. And this is what it looks like. So as you can see, the battery already been removed, so it's not in here. I already have it removed. Let me see if I could grab it real quick to show you what the original battery looks like. So this right here is the original battery that came with this laptop. It's set like that. This shiny thing that you see here is for the magnet, because this is a convertible laptop. So when you flip over the lid, this is where it touches. I'm trying to see if I could grab something metal just to see. So this is not metal. Well, I guess this is not a magnet, but this is the metal piece where the magnet from the lid itself grabs onto. So, all right, let me grab the replacement battery now, and I'll show you that. So this right here is the replacement battery that we got from Amazon. Alright, they also included the tools in here as well. I have my own tools, so I don't think I really need it, but in case you don't have tools, they have included a Phillips screw. Let me open this up so you can see it. And I'll also put the information about this battery in the description in case you want to order it. So this is what it looks like right here. If you could focus this. It's a Phillips screwdriver. It's cheap. And then you got these things here to open the cover. So we'll set this aside. Like I said, I don't really think I need these right now, since I have my own iFixit tools that I'm going to be using. So we'll pop this battery. Before I pop the battery back in, I just do want to take a look at the RAM and see how much RAM it has. And I do happen to have some spare RAM, and see if I could upgrade it if it needs an upgrade, because honestly I don't even know how much RAM this one has. Let's see how we could get to the RAM. So usually these things have just little clips that you can see right here, 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 and here. And then there's 2 on each side, and then similarly more on that side, and this cover just pops up. So let me see if I could get under. I may need something smaller. Let's see. There it goes. And just like that, it comes off. I do have 2 modules in here. Let me flip around so you can see it right here. So you got 2 modules in there already. I don't know, once again, what those are. Let me see if I could pop one of those out and see how much RAM this has. There it goes. So this here is a 16 gig module right here. I think the camera is going to focus very well. Yeah, I don't think it's going to focus very well, the camera, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a 16 GB. And it's a DDR4, I believe. Alright, so I think... Well, let me show you how I took that one out in case you don't know. So right here, it's got 2 clips here. And you just press this. And press this, like that. So you got 32 gig RAM. So you got 2 16 gig modules in here. So it's got pretty good RAM. Let me put this back in. We'll put this back in like so. Just watch for the edge at the bottom here for this cover. Make sure it doesn't get in the way. And then you flip like that. And then just gonna, with this cover off, you could see these are the clips that I was talking about, where it's gonna lock this edge right here. So we'll just gently just press it from the sides like so, and you should hear like a little click, and that means it's securely locked in. Alright, now let's drop the battery in there, and it should be quick. The original battery does tell you, it has little arrows right here. So the original battery does have little arrows that tells you where the screws are. This generic one doesn't, but you know which screws to put on. And speaking of screws, I should get the screws from the little bag that I have. Let's see, right here. So we'll get the screws out. And I'll put the screws right in here. So these are all the screws, including the ones for the cover. So the ones for the cover, because this is silver, these going to be for the cover. So I'm going to set those 2 aside. These 2 are under those rubber feet. So that leaves us with these 3 screws here for the battery. Actually, I'm sorry, 4 screws for the battery. So this should fit just like so right here. Alright, looks like it's secured. So the screw is going to be 1, 2. Let's just make sure. Yeah, I think I have a... For some reason, seems like I have less screws here than I need. And I wonder why that is. Did I lose the screw? Did I put them somewhere else? Let me quickly take a look at the box just to make sure I have the right amount of screws. Give me 1 second. Alright, so after going through my box again, I thought I was going crazy because I wasn't sure why I was missing the screws, because for this very reason I kept all the screws together in that little Ziploc bag taped right to the laptop itself. So they were there the whole time. I just didn't look. hard enough. So actually there's 5 screws here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 screws. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are the 5 screws that you're going to put back. So let's get started again now that I found the screws. And right here. Alright, so I'm going to start with this right here. Now 1. Here's 2. I'm going to go in the cross pattern here. This seems like a small screw, so I believe it's for, they're all not the same. Let me see. Let's see. These are very tiny screws for this big battery. Okay, got the right one here. That goes in there, so you got 2 here, 3, 4, 5. So far looks like the big ones are gone, although they look very same size to me for some reason. Let's see. There you go. So I got 3 in, and then 2 more. So go right here. And that's the last one. And I do want to test this out before I put everything back. So what I'll do is I will try to turn this on. Let's see. And I believe this one has a power source on this side. So let's see if I can turn this on. We have a light right here. You can see right here we have a light. The fan is on. That's a good sign. And looks like the display is coming on too. All right, so we got the fan going. We have just about the screens coming up there. You can see it right here. And it's going to the operating system. Alright, so I'm gonna obviously this did not correctly shut down, so I'm getting this recovery screen here. I'm gonna see if I could turn it off. It is a touch screen, by the way. Alright, so let's close this up. Now we can close the cover. Just gonna put this back in here so I don't scratch up the screens or anything. Alright, so I will be upgrading the storage, which is right here, the hard SSD. I will be upgrading it later on. I believe I have it. I just don't happen to have one right with me at this moment, but I believe I do have a bigger storage than what this one has, so I might upgrade it. Also, this looks like it has some kind of tray here for your traditional size SSD. But I do not see any connection here, so it's possible that they may have offered this in a configuration where you could have a multiple storage drives. But all right, let's put this cover back on. You want to go in from the bottom right here, from these clips at the bottom that you see. So you align the bottom edge, and then you slowly bring it down, and then you want to start closing it from the bottom. There we go. So the bottom edge is, there we go. So the bottom edge is all aligned. Now I could work my way upward. You should just gently press this and you should hear those clicks as the clips lock in. And I think that should be it. Let me just make sure I got everything in there. Everything's flushed. No gap anywhere. Everything's flushed all around. Okay. Now let's put the screws back on. The silver one right here, those will go here at the bottom. So I'll put those here. And that's it. You don't need to over tighten them. That's it. This one looks flush. This one looks a little bit. So let me see if I could go a couple more threads. There we go. And now we'll once again lift this. Sorry. And those, you can see. And again, you don't need to over tighten them. Press this one back in. Yeah, and if you happen to open one of these or laptop that has a similar setup right here at the bottom, yeah, I would recommend just lifting the corner instead of the whole rubber pad there, because these, once you remove them, the adhesive doesn't hold really well when you put it back together. So that's why just open the corner, see, because then it lasts a little bit longer. And that should be it. Let me just fire it up one more time just to make sure. And I forgot where the power button was again, right here. This is the cover right here. I did want to go into the BIOS. Let me see if I could restart one more time. Let me have to. There we go. Okay. Do want to get in the BIOS just to make sure everything looks good, because I may have to set the date and time, I believe, because originally I was getting an error message regarding the CMOS. So I'm going to go F1 and just do, yes, it does not have a date. Let me see if I can show you, because like I said, this laptop was never used, so yeah, it's going to be hard to, let me see, yeah, right here. So if you look at the date right here where it says born on date, it's everything 0. That's because this was never set up outside the box. Alright, so let me just set the date and time, and let me get back in there. So that should be F10, I believe, for the BIOS. I think I pressed it too many times. Let it make sure it goes. I was a little too aggressive with it. No. Okay, so let me set the date and time. Yeah, currently the date and time set on this one is not correct, so this is going to be, I guess it's a touchscreen, so I could use this, or I could just punch in information as well. 2026, enter, and let me put the time in there. Once we are in the operating system, it should automatically update the date and time, but just gonna make sure I have the correct time here. So Okay, we got the date and time set. So you're not able to see the screen, but so make sure a couple of things in the BIOS before I go back to the operating system. So everything looks good in here. Language, fan is, it does not have a auto option. So the fan, either you could choose to have it disabled, or you could have it enabled for fan being always on. If you are working somewhere where you expect the laptop to run hot, then I would you select the option that says enable, but just be aware that if the fan is always on, you will hear that fan noise if that bothers you. Battery remaining time, it's showing me for that option it says disable. Why is that? So I do want to see that information. Okay. Okay, everything else looks good. I'm gonna get out of here and then go back to the Windows. There you go. You can see right here, that's the logo, HP. It's booting up, and hopefully gets me to the login screen. If not, then I'll have to reinstall the operating system, either from the recovery partition, or I have, there it goes. Actually, it's going right to the login screen, so that's great. And this, because it was sitting in the box for a long time, you know, I'm pretty sure it's gonna have a ton of updates, so I might even do a full restore using the latest Windows download instead of messing with the original operating system that comes preloaded from HP on this one, because that'll probably be faster. And by the way, yeah, this one did have Windows 10 on it, so I'll also have to do an upgrade as well. Alright, that's about it for this video. Thank you for joining me again. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.